Public radio is a single station FM radio that's housed in a mason jar. It's a simple listening device that only has one speaker and one knob and one antenna. And it's used to listen to your everyday FM station. The public radio is designed for people who have a daily routine and who listen to only one radio station every day. I mean, I think the way we think about it, if what you're looking for is new content, a new viewpoint, new music, whatever it is, then you're probably going to go to the internet or your phone. But FM radio still fills this daily need in our lives. Its connection to your community, its connection to a single news source of curated content. And the public radio is meant to be the simplest possible listening device to connect to your local public radio station. The Kickstarter was it was multiple things. It was definitely market validation. I mean, we knew that we needed to sell about 2,000 of these to make the economics make sense to us. And Kickstarter gave us that validation in a really easy and lightweight way. It was also seed investment, and so we weren't able to fund the manufacturing costs and testing and engineering and so on and so forth out of our own bank accounts. And so Kickstarter was really helpful, bringing just some much needed capital into the mix. So we are going into production like this week. I'm actually visiting our contract manufacturer for printed circuit board assembly on Monday, and we will be shipping about 400 Kickstarter rewards in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then the balance over the next month and a half. Centerline Labs is a company that we set up to make the public radio. So myself and my co-founder, Zach Dunham, had worked together on this one project, but we also kind of have other things in the mix, things that we're working on. And Centerline Labs is a business that we formed to fulfill the Kickstarter rewards and then continue the public radio past the Kickstarter campaign. And at some point, once we get a little bit of breathing room, it's possible that we would release other products. My background is in project management and design and procurement. And so I think I come to the hardware startup scene from a little bit more of a traditional background, I think, where I think of these things as just kind of manufacturing problems. It also matters that the product that we're building is it's decidedly not cool as far as kind of the venture capital scene in New York is concerned. I mean, it's not connected, it's not on the internet, it is not a wearable, and so we're a little bit outside of that world in some ways. And additionally, just my background as a project manager and doing 3D design and manufacturing and procurement, I think of kind of the most interesting things in the hardware startup scene as being the companies who are taking some core idea that's existed in manufacturing or logistics or supply chain management for decades and modernizing them in an interesting way. Octopart has been super helpful for us in managing our bill of materials and cost of goods sold, and just kind of getting an idea of how the raw components that we're building public radio out of get procured and then assembled into a finished good. Undercurrent is a strategy consultancy that that's my day job. I work full-time at Undercurrent. We do a variety of different kind of consulting services with Fortune 100 companies. And so we work for General Electric, American Express, Estee Lauder. And generally speaking, we come into these companies that have huge strengths. I work primarily with GE. GE is an incredibly impressive manufacturing organization. But they're also in a marketplace, in a kind of manufacturing ecosystem that's changing rapidly. And we tend to have just a different background, and we approach problems of kind of testing and learning and trying really small ideas and really kind of capturing long tail value in a marketplace that traditional companies aren't very well set up to do. My background is in manufacturing, but the size of the companies that I've worked at is between the teens and the hundreds. And the kind of products that I've worked on have been kind of more bespoke and more high-end, and seeing manufacturing on the scale that General Electric is doing has been incredibly eye-opening and interesting, and has, I think, taught me a lot about the way that the world works in ways that are difficult to have access to if you're not in kind of corporate manufacturing. On the other hand, I also see the weaknesses of those kinds of companies, and Sony or Samsung would never make the public radio because the market is so small and tailored. They would never be able to recoup the cost that they put into it. But for us, it's just a great opportunity, actually, and we don't have the organizational overhead and a need for scale that these legacy companies have. And so being an undercurrent and seeing what these large companies are going through has been incredibly informative.